very dear, a very dear sister Dianne with us. And I know over where she is, it's 9:30 in the morning. So it's around as far away as can be time-wise from here. It's a 10-hour time difference. So welcome to you, Sister Dianne. And we have some especially picked flowers for you, which are going to appear. There they are, from the hills of Izmir, especially for you.
Thank you so much. That's very, very sweet. It's a pleasure to be with you all. Those are beautiful flowers.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Oslim. So I've known Sister Dianne for quite a few years and always found her as someone who's very genuine, down to earth, friendly, engaging, and really giving a lot of herself to help others, and also with a great sense of humor. So very easy to talk to, and I think that's one of the reasons she's such a jewel in Baba's global family. Some may be meeting her for the first time tonight, so I'm going to give a little of her official intro. She's been around 40 years with Baba, and she's the coordinator of Baba's Center in Seal Beach in California. She's a former school psychologist and a licensed educational psychologist. She's authored more than 20 books for the Living Values Education Program and also a parenting guide. And she's traveled to more than 30 countries around the world for Baba's service as well. So the topic we have for her tonight is really about spiritual well-being, which I guess is at the core of all other well-being, emotional well-being, mental well-being, well-being in our relationships with others. So I've asked her to take up these topics of what are the principles of spiritual well-being, and then we'll see if there's time for some questions also. So a big welcome once again, Dianne. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Yogesh Bhai, for that very sweet and generous introduction. I always enjoyed you, and I really enjoyed it when you had a center in Oxford. I think it was Oxford. It was a little center close to Global Retreat House, about a 20-minute drive away. Is that right? Yeah, it was very lovely. Yeah, I remember that well. It was a special time.
Just one note that there is translation happening simultaneously in a few languages, so to keep the speed of speaking fairly slow.
Okay, so we'll be here for 10 hours. It was an interesting topic, spiritual well-being, and I had to think about it. So I sat down and I wrote out what I think are the principles for spiritual well-being. And so I came up with one main one. And tell me if you think this sounds like Golden Age, because it does. Be peace, be love, be kind and respectful to the self and to all others. And of course, this is rather golden agey because it's what we're achieving. But I would say this is the number one spiritual principle, and probably the reason why most of us are Brahmins, because we want to be that peace and love. And deep within all Brahmin souls is this understanding that the whole world is our family. And this is so important, that understanding, like Baba says, we can become equal to him. And certainly it's an amazing thing that he says, because it doesn't matter what your intellect is like, what your position is like. But how do we become equal? We become equal in those vibrations of peace, in those vibrations of love, and in that ability to be kind. And so, in order to do that, of course, we have to recharge. If we were in golden age, there'd be that one spiritual principle. No one would ever say it because we'd already be it. But at this point in time in the cycle, we're not there. And so the tools that Baba gives us, the ability to know how to connect with them and to recharge. So this is the beginning of achieving what we want. We connect with Baba, we have a spiritual lifestyle, we feed the mind spiritual wisdom, Baba's Merlis. But we're not in golden age. And so I wrote out more spiritual principles. So 2, be in the present moment. Enjoy being soul conscious whenever possible. So this development of soul consciousness is lovely. And as we learn to be soul conscious, Baba talks to us about our qualities. We use the affirmations, we use the points of self-respect that he gives us. So it's a lovely journey. I came into Raj Yoga in Madhavan, and I took the Raj Yoga course there. And about 4 months later, I found myself at the only center in Mexico at the time, in Cuernavaca for a couple of months. And I remember one day I was walking to the grocery store, and I was walking back with a sack of mangoes because Sister Elena and I were going to do this mango fast. So we did mangoes one day, watermelon another day. She was really big into this. And so I had gone to the store. And when walking back, I just felt myself to be a jewel of contentment. And it was like I could really feel that I, the soul, was a jewel. I was so content, and like light was just shining out. And so that was my affirmation for 5 years. And I loved it. So I would say, be in the present moment as much as possible. Children of 5 are in the present moment 95% of the time. Adults are in the present moment 5% of the time. But these affirmations, these points of self-respect that Baba gives us, allow us to develop a self-respect that's based on who we really are. So at the end of the day, you can say, what were Baba's qualities that I used to take? So this is an easy way to increase our soul consciousness, to develop our self-respect, and to stay happy. So number 3, lovingly accept yourself. When we first come into Baba's knowledge, we can usually fly. Baba gives us special help because we're children. And we fly with love, we fly with joy, we experience so much light and happiness. And then gradually Baba has to let go of the hand because we're learning to walk, and now we can walk independently. And so sometimes we begin to experience body consciousness or body conscious emotions. So lovingly accept the self. It's so easy to accept our positives, but can we accept our negativity? Can we not engage in guilt and shame and blame and denial and putting it on others when we're angry, when we're sad, when we're hurt? And so this lovingly acceptance of the positive and the negative is something that is very, very important. If you looked at Sunday Smurley, about halfway down on the first page, Baba was talking about when you're reacting negatively to another, go into a positive quality that you want to have for that one and have a determined thought to hold that virtue, hold that attitude towards that person. So Baba's not saying be afraid of your negativity. Be aware of your negativity, not frightened. Okay, sorry. Can I talk a little more loudly? Okay, is that better? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, seems fine.
Okay, there was a language, whatever it was, but it was asking me to speak more loudly in the chat. So I'll try. My voice isn't very loud. So this is really a lovely thing that Baba's teaching us, and I think it's a real key to transformation, because we all have those sanskars. Once when I was in Madhavan, Baba gave me a vision when I was in Baba's room, and it was as though the soul in Golden Age was in Golden Age, and then there was a sword. I was meditating and trying to understand the vice of lust. And so the vision was that there was like the sword of lust. It went into the soul. And what happened in the vision, it isn't this way in reality, but what happened in the vision was that the body conscious samskaras opened up. So you can visualize that there's the soul conscious feelings that we all want to experience, and we all want to have only those. But there's the body conscious emotions underneath. So the reverse happens right now. We have the body conscious emotions, and then the sort of knowledge and how to connect with Baba opens up the soul conscious feelings. And so we want to have that energy and that experience. And we do, and it's lovely. But I feel very strongly about this loving acceptance of the self. And I want all Brahmins to understand how important it is to not shame yourself and how to be gentle with yourself when you do have body conscious emotions. Because if you don't, then you can be overwhelmed by the emotions later, and it can cause you a lot of distress. And so, okay, the sound is very low again. Okay. So there's something called spiritual bypass. And spiritual bypass is when you bypass your emotions, you ignore the negative ones, the negative emotions, and you go only directly into spirituality. and you experience your spirituality. And that is wonderful. You experience your feelings. But what happens is you don't transform your emotions. I, the soul, have both sanskaras. I have the soul conscious ones and the body conscious ones. And so, what Baba's doing is he's giving us tools to say, recognize the negativity and don't be afraid. Think of what you want to have instead, and then be that. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, great. So, this choosing a virtue when you recognize the emotion is a powerful, powerful tool. And to do that, one of the things that helps is principle number 4. So the fourth principle I chose was develop a wise, loving, compassionate, nurturing voice. Nurture yourself and take Baba's light. So in the Creating Nurturing Spaces course, which is soon going to be offered to all Brahmins around the world, is and the True Self-Esteem course, both of them take up a psychological tool. And the psychological tool is the psychological perspective of the inner child. And what that is, in Brahmin terms, is it's communicating with a samskara that you don't like. I remember once when I was a school psychologist, I worked in a gang area. I could deal with angry gang fathers. I could deal with, child abusers. I could deal with all kinds of things. Only one person bothered me. And that person was about this big. She was really skinny. And she'd come into my office and she'd go like this. And she'd say, Dianne, can I talk to you for a minute? And it would drive me nuts. Why? Because that was a part of myself that I didn't like. I was so scared to be whiny. I was afraid that people would reject me if I was whiny and they wouldn't like me. So it's very interesting and helpful to recognize these parts of ourselves. Once when I went to GRC in Oxford, they're very nice to me and they say, Dianne, would you read early tomorrow? And I just arrived and I was jet lagged. And so my little sanskara of fear came up. Oh, what if they don't like me anymore? So now, if you have a negative sanskara come up and it's in your mind, if you're critical, then you have negativity toward negativity and you go down. So what you can learn to do is when the sanskara speaks, your intellect can call on your nurturing, wise, angelic self, and you can say, oh, you're scared. Yeah, I'm scared. What if they don't like me? Well, I'm sure they will. Are you sure? Yeah. Do you want to come up with me to the stage? And you can stay behind me and I'll protect you. Okay. So that's an example of a nurturing voice. Your voice you can use. But in other words, you're not going to shame this part of you. You're going to understand it. I remember I shared this with a center coordinator in another country. And when she was little, something had happened to her with a parent. And so she became frozen when someone was angry. So this one person who was also a BK would come to the door of the center and would be angry with her. And she would be frozen and she would be terrified. And she didn't deal with it well. So I told her about this. And so she talked to herself and she learned to protect that self. So when I was in Oxford, I told her about that. And I told her when I went up to the stage, I cut my hand and I held the hand of the little girl. So I, the confident adult self, walked on stage and no one noticed that I had my hand slightly cupped. I was holding the hand of my scared self. So I went up to the stage and sat in the chair. And she stood slightly behind the chair where I could give her love. And so I told this story to this center in charge in another country. And so when that person next time came to the door, she called me to tell me that she took her hand and she put her little girl behind her so she would be protected and not scared. And her powerful Shakti self stood at the door and dealt very effectively. So what happens inside is that if we don't deal with our pain or our fear or our anger in an understanding way, they can grow and they can overpower us because we're frightened of them. And it can use our emotional energy in such a way that our spiritual happiness starts to go down. So in Raj Yoga, what we can do is use our spiritual understanding and light and love to understand what's happening and to help those parts of us grow so that they are understood and taken care of and treasured. And then they grow up. And as we heal those parts of us, we become more compassionate and we're not afraid of our own pain and we're not afraid of others and their pain. And there's the ability to have more joy. We could spend a whole hour on just this one point, but you've asked me for spiritual principles. So I'm going to go on to number 5. And that is recognize and heal your own pain. I asked Yogesh if we could do a meditation together on this. So we'll do a meditation on this at the end of the session. I know you then go into a world meditation. So we'll start with self-healing and then we'll go into world healing. But we all have emotional pain, and I'm using the words emotion for negative feelings that agitate us. I'm using the word feelings for soul conscious spiritual qualities. So recognize when we have emotions and then heal them. Baba says, don't make mountains, don't make molehills into mountains. Make mountains into cotton wool and then blow it away. So sometimes souls are sensitive. And they're sensitive because there's a big sanskara of pain underneath. We actually all have it. because we're old souls. So what happens is at the beginning of Copper Age, in Golden Age and Silver Age, we're loved by everyone. We all want love, don't we? It's our basic human need. So we're all loved. We love everyone. They all love us, and it's wonderful. But at the beginning of Copper Age, we begin to treat people differently in that we have a preference and we become attached. And we care less about these because our attention is completely here. And so as we leave by the wayside these, as we abandon, then in return, later we are abandoned. So our love changes. So as we abandon and get abandoned, we have the samskara of feeling sad or feeling low. And this grows over time. So sometimes in life now, something little can happen and we go into this much bigger samskara. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, great. So this is the samskara that we need to heal. And you can heal it and you can work on this every day. And when you work on this every day, then this samskara will get smaller and smaller and smaller. And with time, you will not be able to get depressed. And you will stop being oversensitive because when something little happens, you recognize. And you can see because you're willing to be aware. Baba does say that everything in the drama is perfectly designed for you to learn whatever is needed. So all these things are so beautiful, and they're only about learning a virtue. I'm not saying it's not hard. There's very hard things. I'm not saying it's not painful. There is pain in life. But to understand it, to heal it, to be loving, to be a source of comfort to others, this is possible. Because we have to heal our own pain, and the whole world needs a lot of healing at this point in time. So, see, Yogesh, I am going to run on for 6 hours. I forgot to tell you. I'll do the last 3 very quickly so we can go to questions. Number 6. Principal tenet of Raj Yoga, right? Ready? Good wishes and pure feelings for all. This, I think, is such a beautiful understanding that Baba gives us, and this instruction to have good wishes and pure feelings for all. It makes us free. One of the things I loved about coming into Raj Yoga is that I didn't need to measure people anymore. In the world of body consciousness, you are taught to judge people, to measure people, to think about how smart they were, how attractive, their socioeconomic status, their suitability for whatever. And it was so liberating. I thought, I don't need those yardsticks anymore. I don't need to measure anybody anymore. I see them. They are Baba's child. They are a soul. So this allows us to go away from judgment. We can discern who the soul is, that they're Baba's child. So we don't need to judge them. We can protect ourselves, perhaps, if that's necessary. But if I don't judge them in a negative way and bring that into myself, I can maintain my own love. And the more I maintain love and good wishes for someone, the easier life is. And you develop this orb around you, or this vibration that stops negativity from coming in. In Raj Yoga meditation, we not just have alpha waves, but we have theta and delta waves. So in meditation, we learn to slow the mind. The brain waves are much slower, and it creates a vibrational field around us of peace, of love, of joy, of light, of strength. And that protects us daily from the vibrations of the world. And it's especially important at this time when there's so much negativity, like the tragedy for many souls right now in Afghanistan, I'm sure is very much on everyone's mind. But we have to see all things with spiritual understanding and then extend our good wishes, our love, our strength, our power to those souls. On the good wishes and pure feelings for others. Understand that everyone has their own story and they're doing the best they can. So, no blame. Give respect to all. Okay, number 7. Balance. Enjoy work, play, solitude, being with others, being in nature. Have balance in life. Yes, as Raj Yogis, we do a lot of work. We do meditation, we study. We also need time in nature. We need to exercise this body. I, for a few years, became a service machine and did not sleep enough. When I was writing the first set of Living Values books, I'd fall asleep at the computer and have another cup of chai. Not good. Created some real health problems for myself. Take care of that vehicle. Bap Dada, in a personal meeting with Jagdish Bhai, one of the main brothers of the Yajna, told him when he was dying of a liver disease, if you had been as knowledgeable about your body as you are about Gyan, you would not be dying. So take care of yourself. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you able to laugh with people? Are you able to relax? So balance, work, play, solitude, being with others, being in nature. 8, know you have a valuable body, treat it well, healthy diet, exercise. Last one, final one, be careful with Maya. I won't say more on that. Okay. So I'm going to close there. I figured 9 was a good number, and I will open it up for questions.
Yeah, just firstly, there's a request, just the headline of those points, 6, 7, 8, 9. I also have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you just repeat the main
Absolutely.
point?
Yes. 1, be peace, be love, be kind and respectful to yourself and all others. 2, be in the present moment and enjoy soul consciousness whenever possible. 3, lovingly accept yourself, positive and negative. 4, develop a wise, compassionate, nurturing voice, inner voice. 5, recognize and heal your own pain. 6, good wishes and pure feelings for all. 7, balance in life. 8, know you have a valuable body and treat it well. Diet, exercise. 9, be careful with Maya.
Lovely, thank you. If anybody has a question, please do type it in the chat box. But let me start off with one. You mentioned shame and also guilt. And I'm wondering if you can say a bit more about the difference between the two, and also that some societies seem to be more guilt-based and others seem to be more shame-based geographically. So obviously Brahmins from around the world carry some of that with them into our Brahmin life. So what can we do to, as a main strategy, to deal with shame and to deal with guilt, or are they two sides of the same coin? Can you speak to that?
Guilt is very important, and it's very, very useful for Brahmins. You're only allowed 5 seconds of guilt. Guilt is a mechanism within the soul. It's your conscience. So the mechanism of guilt is a natural mechanism of the soul. If you do something wrong, you feel guilty. Now, if you don't feel guilty, you have a problem. People that are psychopaths, that are really cruel and mean on purpose, they have turned off their voice of conscience, so they don't feel guilty when they do something bad. So the fact that you feel guilty, congratulations. It means that you have been a good person throughout the whole cycle. So when you feel guilty, that's fine. Remember the 5-second rule. What did you do that you feel bad about? Okay, so you feel bad. You said something negative to someone and you embarrassed them. You feel bad. So then you say, okay, what do I want to do next time? And you think about it and you say, okay, next time I will make sure when I'm in a gathering that I never, ever, ever even slightly embarrass someone, that I really have respect for all and I'm careful with all. And then you meditate on it and you grow it. And in that same situation, you bring up that behavior and that sanskara. Do not wallow in guilt 5 seconds and then immediately think about the lesson. Some religions encourage guilt, in particular Christianity, Judaism are really big into guilt. I was raised as a Christian, and so the church I was in was very guilt-based, and that's why I left. I couldn't take it anymore. You know, I felt guilty all day long for little tiny things. Even at 7, my neighbor had thousands of petunias in her garden. I picked one and felt guilty for years. So guilt is a method of social control. Other societies use gossip to control others. Both of them are body conscious societies, and both methods are methods of control, and they're harmful to us. And they're easily solvable. Never gossip about anybody, ever. Think about how you would feel if you were gossiped. But the question was about shame. Shame is when you feel that you're a bad person. So something has happened to you, be it something that you did or something that someone else did to you, and you feel shame about it. So because this thing happened, you are a bad person. Very often it's something traumatic. And so it's a very, very deep samskara. And it's such a shame. You know, people feel that they are not good people. And so for that, really hang on to Papa's knowledge that you are a good soul. You are peace. You are love. And all the things that happen are just to learn a virtue. If someone did something wrong, know that they are wrong. Perhaps write a message to them about it. You don't need to send it. And, talk to your wise, nurturing, angelic self and see what there is to learn. And if you can't solve it yourself, go into therapy. In the creating, nurturing spaces and in the true self-esteem, there are tools there to help you deal with it. Any other questions, Yogeshbhai?
None yet in the chat box. I'd just like to say to everyone, come on, folks, we have Dianne with us. Take this chance to ask your questions. In the meantime, let me throw another one in. What can we do to create greater intimacy and closeness in our relationship with Baba? Baba wants to give us so much, but yet we may not be taking. And we may not be realizing why we're not taking all he wants to give. So how can I take more of what Baba is freely offering to me?
Back to principle number 2, lovingly accepting yourself. A lot of Brahmins, Brahma Baba in the Murli is, you notice that there's a difference between the Sakar and the Yavyat Murlis. And Brahma Baba was dealing with the small groups of people in front of him and talking to them. So sometimes there's messages that are very strong, such as never get angry. And so let's say that you get angry, and so you feel that you are bad. You take shame from it. But yes, put it into a more spiritual perspective, that it takes time to never get angry. It's a process. That samskara took many births to develop. So make progress, work on it, transform it. Anger is a secondary emotion. Under it is hurt and fear, but under that you are good. So if you are feeling guilt or shame and trying not to, you're using your spiritual and your emotional energy to try to suppress it. So what happens is your happiness and your feelings, closeness to Baba, decrease. So if you lovingly accept those negative emotions and you're gentle with them, and then you understand who Baba is. Like Baba says, only a handful out of multi-millions know me. Don't make Shiv Baba unlimited. Shiv Baba is the ocean of love. He loves you so, so, so much. Once I was in Madhavan and Baba said, Bab Dada loves you very, 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 very much. It was such a beautiful moment. So know how much Bap Dada loves you, and don't make him limited. Even if you've done something that you feel is wrong, still don't make Shiv Baba unlimited. I gave a class on conquering lust, the greatest enemy, when I was 15 or 16 years in Gyan, because I had fallen in love with someone. And I remember I behaved myself. I was kept the Marriottas, but my mind was a mess. And I remember saying to Baba, and it was so difficult to not go into a relationship, but I was in charge of the center. I remember talking to my girlfriend about it, and she said, Dianne, you have integrity. You can't go into a relationship. So anyhow, I was a good girl. But I remember saying to Baba, if I have to go through this pain of not acting on my desires, then you better make this serviceable. And so at the end of the year, I had learned how to break the dream and fall out of love with this person. And so I gave a class in Madhavan about it. And she then invited me to give it in London, etc. And I gave it in different countries around the world because I thought nobody's talking about what really happens in our mind when we do this. But Baba was so good to me throughout the time. I felt bad. But Baba, when I'd get on the gutty, Baba gave me the love. Baba gave me the power. Baba made me okay. And he helped me. And my Maya was an instrument to help others because I thought somebody has to talk about this because we're losing so many Brahmins. And each one is a jewel in Baba's crown. And we can't lose any more to this. So whatever negativity or Maya that you do get captured by, deal with it. Think about the virtues. Think about what you're learning. Look and see why you're indulging in the Maya. Is it because of your own pain? How else can you deal with that pain? How can you increase more self-consciousness? So write letters to Baba. Use those moments. Go back to principle 2. Be soul conscious whenever you can. Don't allow your guilt or your shame to not have you practice your affirmations. Like every time you take a walk, do you put on a dress of blue light or green light? Or do you put Shiv Baba up here? Or do you hold Bap Dada's hand? Enjoy Baba. Don't make him unlimited. Don't think that you don't have the right to his company because he has given you the right and he wants you to use that right.
Okay, thank you. A couple of questions. One thing, just to check, you said don't make Shiv Baba unlimited. You mean don't make him limited?
Don't make him limited, yes.
Limited, okay. Okay, let me just come to some questions here. I'll read them out. So one is how to deal with somebody's bossiness.
I used to be a little bossy, only when I was stressed, just before a program. So there was one brother that lived behind the center and one sister that lived with me. As soon as my vibration changed and I became bossy, because I wasn't usually, they would both give me such a hard time. So I had no choice but to stop being bossy. How do you deal with bossy? It depends. Maintain your self-respect. Speak quietly and sweetly. And if they continue with their bossiness and they're being forceful, then you can either leave or you can say, I'll come back when you're sweet again. Souls are not often bossy with me. It doesn't happen very often because, well, anyhow, they're usually very nice to me. But I talk sometimes about a 4-step correction process. It's in the parenting guide that I wrote, and you can get it on Amazon in an ebook, either free or for 99 cents. I made it that way so Brahmins could access it. But there's a part in there on a 4-step correction process. So if I'm in a relationship, let's say, what I mean is if I have a relationship with that person, let's say a sister is bossy to me that I've known for many years. And she snaps at me or is rude. And so this happened once. And so I know she's rather volatile and that she's bossy with a lot of people, but I wasn't used to her being bossy with me. So when she was bossy with me, I wrote her an email and I did the 4-step correction process. So I said, dear so-and-so, I didn't like it when you told me, So first I did her the virtues because that's the first step. So I told her, dear so-and-so, you are Baba's lovely child. You are this, this, and this. I didn't like your tone of voice today when you told me in a rude way that you didn't like the way I was doing the dishes. It was actually the dishes, and splashed bleach water on me. So at the time she did it, I just said, I think I'll leave now. And I left because I don't want to be exposed to that type of behavior. And I didn't say anything because I knew that she would escalate because she has quite a strong samskara of anger. So number one, get out of there and protect yourself. But don't put up with it. So I wrote her an email. The positive qualities, what I didn't like, an action. I told her, if you don't like the way I'm doing something, please tell me. But tell me sweetly or kindly or respectfully. You have a golden heart. You're Papa's beautiful child. And I know you can do this. And then number 4, if you want to talk about it, please let me know. We can take a walk together. And I'd love to talk with you about it. So anyhow, she never answered my email and she never responded. But when I finished the weekend retreat, she came in to give toli and blessings. And somebody said something to her about me. And she said, oh, yes, that Dianne, she can sort you out in one email. And she was never rude again. So, escape, know who they are. If they're going to get angry and escalate on you, don't say anything then. Say, I just said to her, I think I'll go now, very quietly. And I walked away, put the dish down, walked away. But I thought about it because I didn't want a continuance of that behavior. Now, if it's a stranger and they're rude, let's say somebody at a store, then I'm going to go into my soul conscious self-respect. I'm going to think, wow, how sad that their life story is such that they feel a need to treat people this way. And I become extra kind and extra sweet. And within 15 seconds, they change. So use your power. You have good soul conscious power. You have Papa with you.
Beautiful. Thank you. There are three more questions, and we'll ask people not to maybe come up with any more because of time. Um, so one is any method to stop storms of Maya. That's all it says.
If you're having a storm of Maya, I don't know what your storm of Maya is about, and you may not want to say it on chat because people can identify who you are, and I like people to keep confidential. But there's different kinds of storms of Maya. They're from lust, they're from ego, they're from anger. So if you're having a storm of Maya, don't act on it. Zip your lip. Do not say anything. Do not do anything. Sit on your hands. If you have an addiction to something that's harmful to you, if you resist it for 15 minutes, the tendency will decrease. That's what research shows. So basically, if you're having a storm of Maya, don't act on it, move away, and do something else. If it's an addiction, get away from yourself. Take a walk, run. Let's say it's an addiction to chocolate, and you will get crazy for 2 weeks if you eat all that chocolate. So do something else. Eat cashews and raisins. Take a walk. Call a friend. Put on some beautiful music and dance. Okay. So first of all, what I'm talking about is don't create more negative karma with someone. Move away. Don't create negative karma with yourself. Move away. 2, distract yourself from the force of the attack of Maya. Distract yourself from the storm. So call a friend that you can laugh with, take a walk, put on beautiful music, dance your emotions, write a letter to Baba. As soon as you're calm again and okay, look and see what you want to be full with and look for the spiritual lesson. Like ego is so difficult when somebody's maybe asked to do something and you weren't asked. So what's the spiritual lesson? What would you have liked them to have done? Baba says we either have ego or we get disheartened when things happened. But Brahmin culture is respect for ourselves and respect for everyone else. How can you be in that state? How can you not play the power game? How can you get out of the power game and just be your content little self? Don't get caught in power games. That's body consciousness. Just quietly do what Baba wants you to do. Become invisible for a while. Does that make sense? If it's lust, pure love. What's the need? But first, distract yourself, get away. What's the need? See the beauty of all souls. Have fun with another friend, a safe friend for you. Have more balance in life. Okay.
Okay. Do you still have
Maya is hard.
Yeah. Do you still have a few more minutes, Dianne, to take some
I
more
do.
questions?
I'm so sorry to run so long. They're good questions. So I hate to, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I don't have a call till 11.
Yeah, I think everyone's enjoying and taking a lot of benefits. So let me read the next one. Um, can you give some advice on how to maintain inner peace daily, being a teenager mother nowadays?
Ah, yes. Read my book. You can look it up on Amazon, Dianne Tillman, Nurturing with Love and Wisdom. Okay. It's free or 99 cents. Read the whole thing. um, it's a very difficult time in the world to have a teenager. And it's hard because you want them to be safe. So even though they're a teenager, they really need you. So detach a little bit, see them as a soul, and stay in your love and stay in their peace. And make sure you have time with them. So I don't know how your relationship is, but build relationship. Engage in conversation. Maybe they really like a particular video game. Find out why. I know that our children, we had a children's class here. We don't now because of the pandemic, and they're all in university now. But I know when this group of 3 kids became teenagers, they were all reading, what was it? They were all reading those books, Hunger Games. And I thought, these are Raj Yogi children. How could they be reading those books? So I got the books and I read them because I wanted to know why they were reading those books. And then we talked about the books and we had the most wonderful conversation. I wanted to know what values or qualities they admired in the heroine of the book and what they thought. We had a wonderful conversation. So, one, the positive language, detachment so you can be more loving, positive language. One, learning how to listen. There's a long 35-page chapter, I think, on listening. How to listen, when to listen. We need to listen when our children are upset, how not to shut the door on them. They need to be enjoyed. So, and family time. Start to create family time so that there's a period of time every night when the parents and the children turn off their cell phones. They can go and turn off their devices, and the kids can maybe help you make dinner and you have family time. And maybe once a week you watch a movie together. Maybe once a week you go on a hike together or you do something together. Or maybe the one parent maybe does a sport with the child, or you find a favorite interest. Or in the Living Values books, there's a new one. The new ones all start with Living Values Education. All the units are, we got a divorce from our wonderful publisher, so we could offer them free of charge. So there's new books that have been rewritten and updated. They're 4 times as big. They're twice as big now. But there's a chapter there on simplicity and caring for the earth and our oceans. So engage with your children on caring for the planet, being a friend to the earth, understanding climate change, and do things together to help. So in other words, get them away from their screens more, start to be consistent, have that family time with no screens. Look at the books in the parenting book. There's many different sort of gratitude questions to play with children. Meditate together. every night when the youngest one goes to bed, even if it's just for 5 minutes together. Maybe everyone says one thing they're grateful for or one thing that happened during the day that they like, and then you meditate for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes with everybody together when the youngest child goes to bed. You all sit on the bed with the youngest child and you do that. Good luck.
Okay, second last question. Somebody asks, why is it difficult to show respect to ourselves, which we show to others?
We have been so well trained with guilt. We all have adopted this negative parent or this critical voice inside. And it's been a method of the religions to try to control the negativity that was emerging. And we've all adopted it. Some of us had negative parents, but there's that critic. So the critical voice is just one that's trying to control the negativity. So tell that critical parent, you know, in golden age, you're only going to be positive. So I need you to be my angelic parent now instead of my critical parent. Because when I give myself negativity, when I'm already feeling negativity, I go down. And if you can be kind to me, we can learn what I need to do to transform. So ask that parent to show you the other side.
Okay, thank you. One more. How to deal with souls who are conflict avoiding?
They're conflict avoiding because they want to be safe. Some are conflict avoiding because it's easier. They want to avoid conflict and anger because it's scary. Maybe they're afraid that they will explode. It's uncomfortable to have conflict. So, it's really important to look at creating safe spaces in our families and in our centers and with our partners and with our friends. So take the Creating Nurturing Spaces workshop. But think about all the things that cause there to be a feeling of unsafety. So before you address a conflict, build relationship. Do the things that create friendship, that create respect, and help that person feel safe. If there is a conflict area where you want to say anything, then use a 4-step method. Or use an I message, such as, I feel sad or upset or not valued when you da da da, because da 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 da. But if you want to address the issue, it's really, really, really important to deal with yourself before you approach them. That we have to really have no trace of anger when we are addressing a conflict. And if you think about it, you know, if you address a conflict when you're angry, they're only going to blame you and be resentful, and your relationship will deteriorate. So if you're going to address a conflict, do it very gently and respectfully and deal with yourself first. Then they can see themselves. If you have anger, they cannot see themselves and they will not change. They will make it worse and they will oppose you. So deal with yourself with love and know that you are going to very gently, and then watch for the time when you can say it. Once there was a mother and she came to me and she said, Dianne, what do I do? My child's playing rap music that's violent in my house and I hate it. And she had just finished a parenting course with me. And I said, how's your relationship with your son? And she said, I just finished the parenting course. It's great. I said, great. In that case, I'll tell you what to do. And I told her what to do. To say something positive. Gee, son, I love you so much and I love my family so much, but I'm really having difficulty with the rap music because, and he said, so she did that. She went home and she did that. And he says, oh, Mom, okay, don't worry. I'll stop. And she came back and she told me, and she said, if I had told you that the relationship wasn't good, what would you have said? And I said, I would have said, work on a good relationship for 3 weeks before you say anything. Because otherwise, it will not happen. There's a saying in Raj Yoga, cooperation follows love. Good luck.
Great. Thank you so much, Diane. That's all the questions answered that people sent in. And some comments really expressing their thanks and appreciation to you. So I know that we're going to go into a meditation now with you for 10 minutes, and then there'll be 10 minutes meditation for the world. So I think this is the time for us just to say a collective thank you. And if you'd like to go to gallery view, we just ask everyone to open their cameras so they can see you. You can see them.
Oh dear, I can't go to gallery view. There we go. Okay, good. Hi. How lovely to see you. Oh, wow, you're so beautiful. Nice to see you all. I'm going to go to the next screen. Let's see, some of you are on. Lovely to meet you all. Om Shanti. Oh, there you're turning on your cameras. Hi. Oh, try it. Hi, you're there too. Lovely. Om Shanti, everyone. Oh. Anyhow, lovely to meet you all. I'm sure I've met some of you in person. Okay, so we'll go for it. We'll do a meditation, and I have a call at 11, so I'm going to skip out just 2 minutes before, but I'll do the healing commentary. Okay, Yogesh.
Okay.
And Yogesh, it was lovely to spend some time with you, and you're the Baba's Yogi family there, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're from around the world, so we're so delighted to have you with us. Do you need some music behind the commentary?
Yes, if you would play the music, and you want to do a Shiv Baba or a subtle regent or whatever you like.
Okay, so I'll just ask the Zoom team to arrange that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Much love, everyone. I think I'd rather have a picture of Bap Dada if you don't mind. Would that be okay? Do you have a Bap Dada?
Yeah, they do. It might take them just a moment to set it up.
Okay.
But yeah, there is.
Okay, wonderful. So everyone relax. And let Baba surround you with the light of peace. Breathe in that light of peace. And let the muscles relax. You may want to turn the music down a little more so you can hear me. And breathe in that light of peace and let your muscles relax even more. And you may want to fly to Shiv Baba, the ocean of peace, and just be the dot. Little tiny soul without masks. And that peace surrounds you. And the soul drinks in that peace. And Baba changes form into the ocean of love. And that light of love wraps around you. And the soul is filled with love. And Baba invites you to the subtle region. So you fly to the subtle region. And there you are, all of us together. We're on a marble round platform. And we see the stars around us. And we all sit comfortably in a circle with Bap Dada in the middle. It's a beautiful scene. A marble platform and a beautiful canopy above us. And the stars in the distance. The universe. The platform is very, very big. We're so safe here. And we sit comfortably. And Bap Dada's in the middle. And he gives each one of us drishti. This is the drishti of love. And we take in so much love and light and power. That we experience being equal. And Baba continues to give each one of us drishti. And I can feel how much my Bap Dada is unlimited. He loves me completely. He knows who I was, who I am, what I'm becoming. He's loved me through eternity. I breathe in that love and that light. And I relax completely. And now Bapdada creates in his hand a beautiful orb of light. It's transparent. It's like sparkling light. And he comes in front of me. And he lovingly and gently places that orb of light, that carb of light around me. And I experience myself inside that. I have light that is 5 inches thick around my subtle body. It's like a cloak of love. And Baba goes to each one of us in the circle. And we're all in these beautiful orbs of light, a thick light of love. "15 centimeters thick." And I enjoy being in this safe cocoon. And now Baba says, okay, today you're going to do a healing exercise. You develop pain during the last half of the cycle. So feel where your pain is. Maybe you carry your pain in your throat. Maybe you carry your pain in your chest. Maybe you carry your pain in your stomach. Maybe you carry your pain in your gut. So think, when you feel sad, where do you carry your pain? So let there be in that area that feeling of pain, of sorrow. Maybe it's as big as your hand. Maybe it's made of gray light. Maybe it's bigger than your hand. Maybe it's small. Maybe it's like a tennis ball. But whatever it is, allow it to be there. And now, even while you feel that pain or that sorrow, and allow it to be there, be aware again of your beautiful orb of light, of love. Feel that love. Let that love begin to enter into the subtle body. So it comes in, and as that orb of love is absorbed by the subtle body, feel that love. Connect with Baba. He's there with you. And begin to absorb more that light of love into the subtle body. Feel that love. A powerful light of love. Let it gradually approach that gray area of sorrow or pain. Let that love cradle that gray area and gently caress that area. Accept the pain and surround it with love. Breathe, relax. Breathe in that love and feel that carb of light, of love around you. You are safe. And gently feel that gray area and maybe ask it, would you like to share something with me? And listen. Maybe the pain wants to be understood or accepted. Maybe it wants you not to be afraid of it, but to listen to what it has to say. Maybe there's a beautiful lesson that will allow you to forever not take more sorrow. Maybe there's a virtue you can have or an attitude you can have towards that sorrow. It will allow you to be gentle with yourself. Let the light of love gently surround that gray area. Maybe Baba comes. As you're accepting this part of yourself and healing the pain. You are full of love. And that light of love is just getting more powerful. Dada comes. Maybe he sits beside you. Maybe he holds your hand. And what does he tell you? Maybe he puts his hand on your head. Or touches your cheek as he gives you drishti. Accept that love. And now let go of the gray area. And know that next time when it comes, it'll be smaller. And that you and Baba will heal that. For you are the courageous ones who are learning to give pure love, to never give sorrow. And as you do that, and fill yourself with God's love, that the power of God's light will heal that pain. And now breathe and relax and grow your wings. Put on your angelic dress. And stand on a circular marble platform and safely look at the earth below, our beautiful globe. And our wings are large and beautiful, each feather of virtue. And we all fly to surround our globe. And we make a circle around the earth. Our wings are so large that all of us together can surround the earth. And united, we take in Baba's peace. And we send peace to the earth. We fill with Baba's light of peace. And it automatically covers the world, touching every soul, the trees and the rivers, the oceans. And Baba pours light through us, a light of peace. The light of strength. The light of love. Om Shanti.